Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. So I am just now getting to put away my last payday prep. You remember where I got some sugar, I got some rice, I got salt. The reason is because I ran out of Mylar bags and they just came in yesterday. So although I've done some videos like this in the past, showing you how I pack my food for long-term storage, I wanted to go ahead and pass along a tip and see if any of you had any ideas about the oxygen absorbers. All right, so I'm going to go over that here in a second. So right now what I'm packing is, I've got 100 pounds of salt, right? If you notice my last payday prep, I had 3 25-pound bags. Well, since salt is so dense and since it compacts so well, one bucket holds 50 pounds. So I just happen to have a 25-pound bag in my working pantry that was probably only missing about 2 or 3 pounds out of it. So I went ahead and grabbed that bag in order to fill up the second bucket. Okay, so I also have 1 bucket of rice. So one of these buckets will hold, I'm estimating that it will hold roughly 40 pounds of rice, because the 50-pound bag of rice that you all saw me grab the last payday prep, I was almost able to fill the bucket up with that. I could have probably filled it all the way to the top, but then it wouldn't have worked very well as far as me being able to put a lid on it. So whenever you fill these, you want to be able to give it at least I would say a couple of inches. I would say at least 2.5 inches from the top, so that you can have room to fold in your Mylar bag and also to be able to put that lid on there. Okay, that's what's going to allow your Mylar bag to be protected from any rodents that may be able to get to it. Now, if you're packing these and putting in an area that you know you have absolutely no rodents, by all means, you don't really necessarily have to use a bucket. However, I think that these buckets, for the price that they are, you know, for the bucket and the lid, you're looking at like $5. I think for that price, that if ever, you can always use them for different things. And I think that they would make a great barterable item if you ever had to barter for something. That one of these buckets would make a great barterable item. Okay, so one other thing I wanted to tell you is, I told you I'm packing 100 pounds of salt. I'm packing just shy of 50 pounds of sugar. I was able to fit probably about 42, 43 pounds of sugar in the bucket, leaving a couple of inches of headspace. Okay, it seems like the sugar is less dense than the salt is. So I was only able to I would say I probably was able to fit 40 pounds, 42 pounds of sugar in that bucket. So that's a pretty good amount. And the bucket you're looking at right now is the one that I'm going to seal for you. That way, for those of you that have never done this before, you'll see how easy it is to actually do this. It doesn't take a lot of effort in materials, with the exception of the rice that's in the bucket. You're looking at about $7. You're looking at about roughly $5 for the bucket, and you're looking at about $2 for the Mylar bag and the oxygen absorber. Now, I'm going to show you guys the Mylar bags that I buy from Amazon, and I am going to leave the link to these. And the reason is because I've been using these Mylar bags for years, and I think that they are the best value. So they are the best bags for the price. I believe these are 4.5 or 5 mils thick. And the oxygen absorbers they come with are they're 2000 cc oxygen absorbers, which is plenty to stick in a 5-gallon bucket. Okay, so today I'm actually going to stick 2 oxygen absorbers in the rice where I normally stick 1. And the reason for that is because I've had these oxygen absorbers for years now, probably for the last 2 years, I would say. And they're getting a little bit old, in my opinion. So I'm just going to stick those last 2 in there, because I do have extras, you know, that I don't have matched up with a Mylar bag. I'm going to stick those 2 in there just to make sure that they're good. I know that they're good, and I'm going to show you how to know that they're good. There's 2 different ways for you to know that they are good to go. Okay, so like I said, what I'm packing today, or what I'm showing you pack, is the rice. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. This is the cow roast rice that I purchased. It's the one that I told you is my favorite because it's like a sticky rice, like a sushi rice. So that's the one that I'm going to be packing today. And that's the only one that I'm going to put an oxygen absorber in. All right. The salt does not require an oxygen absorber. The sugar does not require an oxygen absorber. One thing you want to remember though is this. When you pack your sugar and your salt, try to get as much of the top air out of the bag as you can before you seal it. Because if not, then it's not going to allow you enough room to put that lid on. With the rice, when you see me pack it, I'm not going to be too concerned about getting rid of any top air because the oxygen absorbers will actually create a vacuum in there and shrink the bag in. And what I will do is I will leave this bucket of rice in here for about a day or two. And the next time that I put up a video, I'm going to show you how well the oxygen absorbers work as far as creating a negative vacuum in there and sucking in that bag. And that's one of the methods that you use to know that your oxygen absorber is good. So if, for example, you stick your oxygen absorber in that bag and you seal it, and you see that in 2 or 3 days, before you put it up for good, in 2 or 3 days, that it still has not sucked in that bag, you may want to reseal it. I mean, recut the bag and then put a fresh oxygen absorber in there and reseal it. Okay, so now let me go over here and show you guys the Mylar bags that I buy. Okay, so as you can see, this is my Mylar bag, and I want to show you a big one. Hopefully you can see this. Let me get this out of the way. All right, so this is how big it is. All right, hopefully you guys can see this. I know I'm working in tight quarters right now because I've got buckets all over my living room. So you see, this is how big it is. It's plenty big for a 5-gallon bucket. Okay. Now, when you purchase these Mylar bags, they come in packs of 10s. I recommend that. Well, you do your own research and decide what you want to get, obviously. But I think that the ones that come in packs of 10 are the most economic. The ones that you get the most bang for your buck for. So those are the ones I get. And they come in a package like this. All right. They come in a package like this, and you can see there's oxygen absorbers in here. Okay. So they come inside of a Mylar bag that you can see through. All right. So this is the second one I got. I got 2 packs this time. All right. And they also come with a little tab right here. I'm not sure if you can see that. But if this little tab turns like dark blue or purple, it means that the oxygen absorbers in there have been compromised. So if I order these and I see that these little tabs are like purple, I'll send it back because I don't want to take a chance of having bad oxygen absorbers. Okay? And like I said, these are, man, I want to think I paid like $21 for these. So I think this is a great value for these bags. And like I said, I think they're really high quality bags. And here's your oxygen absorbers. Now, I'm not going to need to open these today because I still have 2 left. If you remember my video where I was showing you how to preserve fiat currency, which was a joke, by the way, okay? I still have 2 left. And if you take a look, all right, okay, if you take a look, you'll see that now the lid is not going to be sealed on there like really tight, like when you jar something in the pressure cooker, but the lid shouldn't pop off. There you go. You should be able to pull that lid off. Okay, and then here's your O2 absorbers. Now, another way to check to see that your O2 absorbers are good is you should feel a powder in there. It should be powdery. All right, if you pull these out and they're hard and it's like a clump in there, it means that the iron ferrite that's in there, what this has in here is like an iron dust. It's like a dusty iron, all right? And what happens is iron oxidizes really quickly. So when they turn it into a dust, as soon as it gets compromised and oxygen hits it, it starts to oxidize and it starts to eat up the oxygen in the air, all right? So I'm not going to handle these too long. But like I said, if you shake them and you see they're nice and powdery, that's another good indication that these oxygen absorbers are still good. Okay, so now all you have to do is You're going to throw these in there. Very simple, all right? And like I said, normally I only use one 2000 cc for that, okay? And I get as much air as I can out of it with my hands. You don't have to suck the air out or anything like that. You can if you want. It's not going to hurt anything. I have a little piece of wood, which is the piece of wood that I use for when I'm sealing Mylar bags. And it's very simple. You don't have to go out and buy expensive Mylar bag sealers or anything like that. If you have a cheap $10 iron, clothes iron, and a small piece of wood like this, it's really all you need. So you just put your wood on there. You place your bag. Try to get as much air as you can with your hands, but you don't have to devote too much energy or time to doing that. You're going to have your iron, all right? And I usually set it on high. When you seal this with your iron, you want to always be moving it. You don't want to leave it in one spot for too long, because if you do, it's going to burn right through the Mylar bag, okay? The Mylar bag will take the heat as long as you keep moving that iron around, okay? So I'm going to start on one end, okay? And just be patient, okay? Don't try to rush it. And just seal it. You see how I still have a little lip there? I'll just go like this, move my wood a little bit more. Just going to seal that little lip right up. And when you do it this way, ladies and gentlemen, what you're doing is, well, let me finish sealing this, okay? That way I don't take my concentration off of doing this, because this is the finished product right here. Well, not necessarily. I'll show you what else I do. Okay. All right, so you see that's it. That's all it takes right there. So this bag is now sealed, all right? And you'll be able to go like this. And what I normally do is if I have more than one bucket, I'll take some buckets and put them on top without a lid. It'll help to crunch it down a little bit, and it'll help to try to push that air into those oxygen absorbers. But even if you don't, you'll see, I'm going to show you this same bucket again, either tomorrow or the day after, the next time I put up a video, so that you can see how much it brought it down. So if you remember, look at this. See, there's air in there, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to label this. That's if I remembered to grab my pen or my marker, which I didn't. So let me go grab a marker real quick, okay? So bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. Now all I'm going to do now is I'm going to label this rice. Okay, and I'm going to put the year 19. I won't bother putting how many pounds or anything like that. If you're not used to cooking rice and you're still storing rice, then something you may want to do is, like on the side in here, I wouldn't do it inside with the rice, but I would, like in the side here, I would slip, or under the lid, tape a recipe of how much rice you need to water, if you require salt, whatever recipe you may want to make with that rice. Tape it under the lid or stick it in here, all right? If you're not used to cooking it. It's second nature for me to cook rice dishes, all right? Because it's kind of a staple that I grew up with, so I don't need to do that. But what I will do is next time that I do a video, I'm going to show you guys how much this has gone down. And I'll show you that just by leaving it alone with those oxygen absorbers in there. Oh, my light is flickering. I hope we don't lose power. Just with the oxygen absorbers in there, you'll notice that this is going to get sucked down, okay? So that's it for the packing. I'm going to go ahead and seal the rest of these. However, I'm not going to bore you to death by doing the exact same thing that I just did with these. The only thing that I'm going to do different with the other 3 buckets that I have to seal is that I'm not going to put an oxygen absorber in there. So I'm going to try to get as much air out of there as I can. So one thing that you may want to do is, if you want to get air out of something, you don't have to get a vacuum or anything like that. And this would require for you to get someone to help you, all right? Is that when you seal this, leave a small gap right here that's not sealed. All right, and usually Little Miss Alaska Prepper or Little Miss Alaska Prepper helps me whenever I do this. I'll seal it all the way up to here, leave a small gap, and then we grab a straw, put it in here, and she will go ahead and take the air out. All right, she'll take the air out of the bag using a straw, and when the bag is compressed enough that I'm satisfied with that, I'll go ahead and pinch it off right here, and then I'll go ahead and finish sealing it with the iron. So you don't need any special equipment. You don't need to go out and purchase an expensive Mylar bag sealer or anything like that. It's that simple. If you don't have an iron at home, don't buy a brand new one. Go to the Goodwill, all right? Or go to the thrift store or something like that where you can pick one up cheap. Because if you don't normally use an iron, why you want to go ahead and spend a lot of money buying an iron that all you're going to do is use to seal up Mylar bags? Okay, I wanted to do a really quick recap and show you guys how my vanilla extract is going. If you haven't seen this video, I'll go ahead and link it, and I don't know if it'll be up there or up there, whichever side I'll try to put a link to it in one of these corners up here. All right, I'll leave a link to it so that you can see what it looked like when I first made it, and now you can see what it looks like now. All right, so this is what it looks like now. I think it's been roughly a month since I first made this. So as you can see, the color is definitely turning. I took the cork off and smelled it, and it smells great. It actually smells like it's ready to use right now, okay? So I'm thinking that the color right now is probably not going to get too much darker, okay? However, I have some cheap vanilla extract that I purchased because I ran out before I made some more. So I'm going to use that first, and by the time that we use that bottle up, this one will probably be really good to go. So what I'll do is when I actually start using vanilla extract from this bottle, I'll go ahead and make another bottle. That way by the time that we're done using this one, which usually takes us at least a couple years, 2 or 3 years. So that way when I start using this one, I can have another one brewing for the next time I need one. But I really wish that you can smell this because it smells great. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I'll take this out every month or so and show you guys what it's looking like. That way you guys will see what the results are by making it yourself. But for those of you that didn't see the video where I made these, I made this bottle, which is 750 milliliters, all right, so a fifth, all right, for you guys that are in the US, we know it as a fifth. I purchased a fifth of vodka. Get the cheapest vodka that you can. It doesn't have to be expensive vodka. It's not going to make any difference whether it's expensive vodka or cheap vodka. All right, because usually when you use vanilla, the alcohol in the vodka or the alcohol that's in there usually evaporates away and you're left with the flavor. Okay, that's the intent. So don't go and buy any expensive vodka. But I had about a $5 bottle of vodka that I poured in here. And I just put in 5 vanilla beans that I purchased at Costco. And it's probably been in here for about a month already. But making it this way cost me about $20, all right, making it this way. Had I purchased 750 milliliters of vanilla, probably looking at spending anywhere from $70 and more dollars, okay? So you're looking at spending more than $70 to make the same thing, to buy the same thing if it was already made. And this only costs $20. And let me tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, you may think that the color is a little light, but this smells really good. I'm sure that it's ready to use right now. And sometimes when you purchase the store vanilla, you run the risk of them putting additional ingredients in there, like for preserving it and stuff like that. Okay, so I think this is the best way to use vanilla here, is to make it yourself. Okay, and another thing I wanted to cover real quick. Remember, I always tell you ladies that slow and steady wins the race. So I did a video a while back also saying that it's probably smart if you guys save some $5 bills and some $1 bills because in the case of some kind of a deflationary event having to do with the economy where there is not a lot of liquidity, it could be that banks may close or it may become difficult for people to get actual cash. So when I say that slow and steady wins the race, I didn't just go out yesterday and get these $5 bills and these $1 bills, all right? I've been putting them in this jar little by little, and I actually got some more. I actually got a 20. The reason I'm putting this 20 in there is because it was a Christmas gift to me from my mother-in-law, all right? So I think it's awesome, so I didn't want to, actually it was $25. I didn't want to spend it, so I'm going to save it, and I'm going to put it in here. And since the last time I showed you these, I've collected another 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 fives. I've collected another 7 $5 bills. So it's not something that I go out of my way to do. I don't intentionally try to get change back so that I can get a $5 bill. Whenever I do, I just grab it, you know, and I put it in my little stack here. So I think this is something that's important for you to do. If you can't afford to put away $5 bills, all right, put away $1 bills, all right. And if you can't afford to put away $1 bills, put away your change. Throw your change in a jar and keep your change there. The idea is to be able to have a little bit of liquidity in the case that banks may close for a certain period of time. It'll be enough to get you by. And even if you have a jar full of change, it's something that you can take to the store and still use, all right? They still accept quarters and dimes and nickels and even pennies. So it's something that I think is a good idea, and it's something that I started doing after listening to a gentleman on Rethinking the Dollar, that's a banking insider, who said that this is a great idea to do, that instead of having hundreds or 50s, to have 5s and 10s and 1s and 20s. So I think that collecting 5s is good. But like I said, I'm not trying to show you here that what I'm collecting. I'm just trying to show you an idea that slow and steady wins the race. You don't have to go to the bank and get $700 worth of $5 bills just so you can say, yeah, look, I'm stacking $5 bills. No, just live your life like you normally do. And if you have an extra 5 that you can spare, instead of using it to go buy yourself a latte, go ahead and throw it in a mason jar. I think this is a great idea, putting this in a mason jar. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that's about it. I'm going to go ahead and throw my little stash in there, and I'm going to go ahead and put my lid on because I want to make sure that those bills are preserved really well, okay? I think that when you put your lid on your fiat currency, that it preserves their purchasing power. What do you think about that? Let me know what you think about that in the comments. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. I hope that you got something out of this, especially for the subscribers that maybe are a little bit newer to the channel and haven't seen some of my older videos. This is how I pack my long-term food storage that needs oxygen absorbers. And like I said, with my salt and my sugar, I won't use an oxygen absorber in those as well. Funny thing is that I got 4 buckets, and I think I'm going to need to get about another 2 or 3 buckets because I still have all of the mashed potatoes that I purchased, and I want to go ahead and put those in a 5-gallon bucket as well because I want to preserve those for long term. All right, ladies and gentlemen, having said that, I hope that you're having a great day. Happy New Year, all right? Remember to be good to each other, okay? Because you know that when good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. Share this video. Share with someone you love. Share with someone that's maybe a little bit on the other side of prepping and doesn't think that we need to prep. Maybe this will, inspire them to maybe just put away 1 bucket. Imagine if every family in the U.S. just had 1 bucket of rice and 1 bucket of beans and maybe a bucket of sugar and a little bit of salt and spices put away. Imagine if everyone did that. It's not a lot of money, all right? Imagine if everyone did that, how much better off as a nation we would be in the case of having some kind of a crisis that affects our food supply, all right? So many blessings to all of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper, and I'm out.